One day, while walking around his neighborhood, a man discovered a watch laying in some dirt next to the road. Intrigued, he knelt down to pick it up. As he began to brush off the dirt, he looked around curiously. This design is beautiful. The person who owns it must have paid a fortune for it. No one was on the road but him. Whose is this? He couldn't just leave the watch. So he put it in his pocket and set out for an adventure. In his heart, he knew he was going to find the owner. What if we could demonstrate that the universe is not an accident, but instead show us design is like the finest handcrafted watch? What would that be worth to you? What if you got the chance to meet the owner? An opportunity of a lifetime, perhaps? Physicists are currently searching for a theory of everything. The Large Hadron Collider was built to help find this. But what if their answer isn't found in smashing particles together, but is found in learning how to put the cosmos clock together? In this video, we will look at a mathematical model, a model which correlates with the known subatomic particles and predicts additional ones. This theory offers a subatomic mapping of particles in a unified field. It also reveals the need for a graviton and an antigraviton, and in the same breath, reveals the need for an intelligent designer. Let's look at what mainstream physicists call the fundamental particles. The standard model can be broken down into matter and force carriers, which can be further broken down into quarks and leptons, as well as gauge bosons and the Higgs boson. The gauge bosons include particles like the A types of gluons, as well as the photon, and the W and Z bosons. The quarks and leptons are both complicated by their 6 types and 3 generations. When we total all the accepted variations, there are currently 61 accepted elementary particles. The standard model is the most complete list of all particles we have. It also includes 3 of the fundamental forces and describes their interactions. It truly is the best we've got so far. According to CERN's website, the quantum theory used to describe the micro world and the general theory of relativity used to describe the macro world are difficult to fit into a single framework. No one has managed to make the two mathematically compatible in the context of the standard model. In addition, they go on to say, the theory incorporates only 3 out of the 4 fundamental forces omitting gravity. If the universe was something generated from nothing, as claimed by those who support the Big Bang Theory, then maybe we should start there. What if this is actually a fatal flaw in our assumptions? How can non-existence, or 0, generate existence, or 1? How can you physically create with nothing? Have you ever done it? I haven't. An artist has a canvas, and a programmer has a computer. Supporters for 0 might say, it has been the mediator between positive and negative numbers for centuries. It must exist because we always thought it did. But what if this is the problem? 0 or nothing represents an absence of something, non-existence. Let's think about this mathematically. Something that is well defined has to have two main characteristics: existence and uniqueness. As a physical example, you can look at apples and oranges. 0 apples are indistinguishable from 0 oranges. They both do not exist. You have nothing, whether you count 1, 2, or a million types of fruit that aren't there. Their absence from existence is not unique. 0 apples looks like 0 oranges. Simply put, they are both missing. You can't determine what is actually not there because it could be one, the other, or both. By the simplest definition, 0 is not well defined. In this sense, it is like infinity. But one apple is not physically equivalent to one orange. One is in fact the first value which brings something into existence and allows for uniqueness. In summary, this doesn't mean 0 isn't useful, but we should bring into question how we use it. 0 is an absence of something, not the start or completion of a cycle. Conventional abstract algebra says that for using a modulus of 9, we should represent all values with 0 through 8. From a certain point of view, specifically when dealing with remainders, this makes sense. However, if we can accept that 0 should not start or complete a physical cycle, then this changes. We should use 1 through 9, where 9 is the completion of a cycle. This allows 0 to be a physical absence of something and does not negate the ability to complete cycles. Think of it this way: is midnight the absence of time, or is it the completion of a day? This also allows for there to be negative values. A positive value is a cycle moving forward. A negative value is a cycle moving backwards. Positive and negatives within this new system represent rotational directions. We observe these rotations in nature when we were talking about seashells, hurricanes, galaxies, and DNA. It's my belief that something like time is no different. We move forward through it, indicating there is a directional flow, but everything happens cyclically in seasons. The universe is a blended duality of balance. Every bicycle has 2 pedals to generate motion. A bicycle with only 1 pedal goes nowhere. And so the solution is to integrate and harmonize the concepts of lines and circles into a single and simple spiral. Does this not look and sound like the simplest possible solution? If we were to develop a mathematical framework for the universe, should it not include these philosophical components? As we reveal this new model, we will connect it to the ideas present in the standard model, bridging the gap between the old and the new. This model is different from the standard model because we are adding the graviton, thus integrating the fourth and final fundamental force. In addition, we will be providing the theoretical location of all particles within a unified field. If you don't believe in mathematical miracles, this isn't for you. Each value present in this model is a complex pair of numbers modulo 9. Since there are 9 squared complex combinations, we arrive at a total of 81 possible particles. If we allow for positive and negative cyclical rotations, or spins, then there are 162 possible values. This must be done to account for antiparticles. While this sounds like an increase of 101 particles, we can demonstrate it is not nearly so many. In fact, the only new particles are the graviton and the antigraviton. The main differences between this model and the standard model are found in these two particles, as well as the way the particles already present in the standard model are currently counted. The following shows how the standard model is currently being counted. There are 13 variations of bosons and 48 variations of fermions for a total of 61. Let's break it down. In the boson category, we have the Higgs, the photon, and the Z boson, which are their own antiparticle. While I can't explain why, their antiparticles are not currently being included in the count by mainstream science. However, the W bosons are both included. There are also 8 gluons, and if we total these up, we arrive at 13. In the fermion category, we have 6 varieties of quarks with 3 colors each. The colors are considered an abstract quality and do not necessarily indicate the color of the particle. There are also 6 varieties of leptons. Each lepton is considered colorless. This means they are only counted once and not 3 times like the quarks. By doubling these 24 particles to include their antiparticles, we can obtain a total of 48 variations. It needs to be stated that there are also 3 generations of each of the quarks and leptons, and so far they have not been accounted for. If we triple the 48 variations, we arrive at 144. This increase in the count should be allowed, and as we detail the new model, it will hopefully make sense how this all connects. We will also adjust the counts for the Higgs boson, the photon, and the Z boson to include their antiparticle as well. If we do this, we arrive at a total of 16 possible bosons. From here we can combine the bosons and the fermions with our adjusted totals to arrive at a total of 160 particles. This is the actual count for the standard model and is more accurate than the original 61 stated previously. Why am I so confident in this? As I have stated before, there are 162 complex values modulo 9. The set of complex values appears to have a direct correlation with the fundamental particles. If we subtract 160 from 162, we see that we are only 2 particles short from completing this set. This leaves room for the graviton and the antigraviton, the fourth and final force. The next section of this video is challenging and not intuitive for someone who has not explored modular arithmetic using complex pairs. I have made other videos which help explain these concepts, so you can explore those to help you with your understanding. If I give a brief overview, 162 complex pairs can be arranged using the golden ratio, which actually resolves to the complex pair 5 plus 1i modulo 9. By using the exponential powers of the golden ratio, it is possible to generate a finite sequence modulo 9. If we use this sequence in some vortex mathematics, we can arrive at the following symbols, which completely and perfectly organize the 162 complex pairs. At the top of every symbol is 9 plus 9i. This acts as the additive identity. If you add it to any number, you end up with the same number. As an example, 5 plus 1i added to 9 plus 9i is just 5 plus 1i. 9 plus 9i is unique in its ability to do this modulo 9. Every other value cannot achieve this. When you double 9 plus 9i modulo 9, you will only and always arrive at the same 9 plus 9i. It is effectively a constant. In the third and sixth positions are combinations of 3, 6, and sometimes 9. There are 8 of these which are unique. When doubled, they oscillate back and forth. The third position doubles to the sixth, and the sixth position doubles to the third. In the remaining positions, we see pairs made of 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, and sometimes 3, 6, or 9, depending on the particular symbol. When we double these values, they form a doubling circuit which is bounded geometrically, but has an infinite duration. If you want to know whether or not eternity exists, this is mathematical evidence for it. This is a closed loop of information that grows without end. By studying the abstract characteristics of the complex numbers and the particles as grouped in the standard model, the following emerges. If we say that a complex value made of strictly 3s, 6s, and 9s is functionally different from the others that would fall into a doubling circuit, we arrive at a set of 18 numbers, or a group of 9 particles and their antiparticles. 9 plus 9i and negative 9 plus 9i are a unique value in this set. They are the additive identity and the value with opposing spin. I believe this represents the Higgs boson and the anti-Higgs, which are also unique. The 16 values found in the third and sixth position represent the 8 gluons and the 4 force carrier pairs. This should make sense at an intuitive level for those familiar with the standard model because of the color combinations that are and are not allowed for gluons. The remaining 144 values must then be tied into the 144 fermions. It will be difficult to find a one-to-one match for every fermion without adequate testing. However, the count is accurate, and so it should be a matter of process by elimination. In summary, there are 162 complex values modulo 9, which correlate to the standard model, along with the addition of the graviton and the antigraviton. The picture shown here is an arrangement, which is a model of the subatomic based on relative frequencies. It is theoretical and requires testing. If you would like to see how it was constructed, you can watch my other video, New Jerusalem, a cube of biblical proportions. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.